I also hear this thought that comes with most of us chatting in the founder circle or people who just are starting to build a brand. There's just often pressure about, hey, I have to keep talking about my brand. I have to keep talking about myself on different channels. Go all in on all the channels, like we're talking about Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of these places. But it's also kind of hard to keep up the pace. And especially when you want to build a community, you can't keep finding and searching for it everywhere, right? So, from your observations, what are the top three things, or, I would say, like the observations that you found to work for the community, but not going in all the platforms, but very specific to how people can choose their own game.
I think it's I think it's best to just kind of double down on what's working. So if there's like a channel that's working well, or if there's, a program that you're building on the community side that's working well, like I would just try to kind of double down on those. Like for us, for Notion, I think YouTube was a really powerful channel for us as a marketing tool. So we really like doubled down
Mm,
on that. And, for our ambassador program, we built that in Slack and Notion because like a lot of these people in the program already use Slack and obviously we're using Notion. So it just made sense for us to kind of, I mean, it was an invite only program, but it made sense for us to kind of consolidate all of that in one place. So I think you really want to just cater towards where you think, your users, your fans, your customers will get the most value and then just kind of spend the most time on those channels.
right. And when early on, it's kind of easier to catch these signals and see, okay, here's where I'm getting more value. Here's where I'm getting more folks to talk about my product. So I'm going to go deeper with respect to this. But let's say as you keep growing your community, especially for a product like Notion or today Figma and so many other products that have this power of community, as it grows bigger, how do you keep it self sustaining? Like, of course, there's going to be like a community team holding on to it and working it through. But what aspects do you think would work better as this community keeps growing larger and bigger? And what's your take there?
There's this question of like, should you centralize things or keep things decentralized? And that's kind of, I think, on a case by case basis. Like with Notion, we decided to keep things decentralized mostly. And,
Right.
I think it's comes with a lot of benefits, but also there's downsides to it. And some
Mm,
companies will try to keep things very centralized and have one place only where
mm,
your community engages. And it's, I think the main things are for, in terms of it being decentralized, it's more authentic, it's more available in more languages, more international. It's more, I think, more potential for virality and to grow faster. On the downside, though, you don't really have any data. You have less control.
mm,
You have brand issues. And then for things that are more centralized, for communities that are more centralized, you have the control. You have the data. You can
mm.
kind of less risk involved. But the downside is it's less. Uh, I think less authentic, less
Right.
international, global feeling. And I think, maybe more capped, also because you're maybe not leveraging platforms people are already using. So it's more capped in terms of like how viral or how much it can grow. So at the
Right.
end of the day, it's a pretty tricky decision. I think you
Yeah.
kind of have to decide on your own where you think, and the decentralized approach only works if people really love your product and are willing to do that, right? Like there has to be a lot of existing love for that to make sense. If not, people aren't going to
Mm.
want to create communities about your product.